She wasn't born hating her body. Her mother taught her how. Behind every cruel joke and forced diet was a deeper wound. This is the story of a girl who was never allowed to love herself. My name is Cassie, and I am 24. I am very fat. No, seriously, not a little chubby, or plus size, or plus size. I am very fat, like almost 400 pounds. I am not going to tell you how I got to this point. This is not my story. This is a story about my family and our relationship in the context of my weight. I honestly don't understand. Maybe I am really wrong. Maybe my mother wanted the best for me when she said that even the mirror is afraid of me. She says it with a smile, like it's a joke, like it doesn't hurt. When I was 8, she put me on a scale and said, "You weigh more than your father, and he is a grown man. Aren't you ashamed?" Since then, the scale has become the main object in our house. My mother weighed me every Sunday, wrote down the numbers in a notebook, and put smiley faces. She said she did it out of love, that she wanted me to be normal, so that boys would like me, so that she wouldn't be ashamed to show me to people. Her favorite phrase? "You'll be like Aunt Martha. Lonely, fat, with cats and diabetes." I don't know who Aunt Martha was. I never met her. But since I was 10, I was afraid of becoming this Martha. I dreamed about being alone in an empty house, in a chair that creaked, with cats meowing around me and the smell of sour milk coming from the kitchen. When I turned 13, I fell in love for the first time. A boy from school named Ryan. I wrote his name in marker on my notebook. My mother found it. "Ryan?" She laughed. "Poor boy. I hope he has a strong spine." And then, as if in passing, "Never have illusions, Cassie. Men don't marry people like you. They hide them." My father? He was around, but always in another room. He didn't interfere. He never told my mother to stop. He just looked away. I think he was afraid of her. I was too. When I was 17, I ate a pudding one night. One. A small one. I hid it in a shoebox under my bed. My mom came into my room the next morning and found the empty can in the trash. She didn't yell. She just looked at me with that expression that hurt more than words could ever say, and whispered, "I hoped you could be stronger. But you're like a pig, Cassie. All you can do is dig." After that, I didn't eat for 2 days. On the third, I passed out in the bathroom. She said I was putting on a show. If only it had been at home. I was in awkward situations all the time. My freshman year of college, I was invited to a house party. I hardly ever went anywhere, but I decided to go. The house was full of people. I was trying not to be that girl who always stood in the corner holding a plate of snacks. I sat down on a bar stool in the kitchen. Everything was fine for the first 5 seconds, and then, clatter, the chair just fell apart under me. But that wasn't the worst thing. What was worse was that the guy next to me, who I was chatting with, shouted, "Damn, that was an antique." Everyone stared at me. Some giggled, some turned away, and I just got up and left without a word. Later, the owner texted me and said that the chair cost $300. I transferred the money to her from my scholarship. Another time, I was riding the bus home from work. It was evening. The bus was almost empty. I always try to sit alone because I know that people don't want to sit next to me, and I don't want to listen to their sighs when I slightly brush their elbow. But then an old woman walked in, and all the seats were taken except for the one next to me. She stood in front of me, looked me up and down, and said loudly, "Maybe you could move over?" Although, where else could you move, really? And she laughed. Herself. The bus went silent. I didn't answer. I just stood up and gave her my seat. And recently, I decided to go to a clothing store instead of ordering online. Yes, I knew I wouldn't find anything, but I was hoping for luck. I walked into the fitting room with a couple of sweaters. One of them was difficult to pull on. The other was completely stuck on me. I couldn't take it off. I just couldn't. I panicked. I called the saleswoman. She was a skinny girl of about 19, with perfect teeth and glossy hair. She walked in and gasped. Then she started taking my sweater off, carefully, as if I could explode. In the end, it tore. Not me, the sweater. I had to pay for it, $58, for a sweater I never even wore. I live alone now. I work, I study, I try to survive in a world where every other mirror is my enemy. But you know what the hardest thing is? It's my mother's voice in my head. It's still there. When I look at my body, it whispers, "No one will love you. You're a flaw. You're a disgrace." Sometimes I sit in front of the mirror and say out loud, "Cassie, you're not broken. You're real. You breathe, and you deserve to be loved." I don't always believe myself, but I try. You know, I even went to see a psychologist. But to be honest, every time it seems to me that she's mocking me too. How can I change my perception or my body?